legal action in the United States. So a lawsuit was filed against Cisco in Silicon Valley that said that they are oppressing Dalits because they have a Brahmin, the boss was a Brahmin, and somebody said that I'm a Dalit, I didn't get promotion, whatever. And so they wanted a census of Indians who are working there, caste census. Because large companies are required to do a race census to see if the blacks are, being oppressed and so on, And so the lobbying, and there are now a lot of organizations that have changed the law to say that caste is race. Harvard University has made that policy. Caste is race. And casteism is therefore racism. And you can apply racism laws, which are very, very tough in America. These laws are criminal laws. If somebody goes to the HR department and says, racist bias and all, they're required to conduct an investigation, and all these things happen, very scary things happen. And the company wants to comply because otherwise they'll have a bad reputation and their stock price will go down and they will be in trouble, and they may ask some CEO or some top guy to resign because there's a racism charge against him. All that is very serious. So now all of this racism baggage and racism violence and problems and legal action is coming to caste, coming to Indians, and this is going to attack the Indians in Silicon Valley. They have all openly criticized, made a list of all these, that this guy is Brahmin, this Sundar Pichai, and this fellow, that fellow, and therefore there's over-representation of Brahmins, and not enough Dalits and not enough minorities from India who need to be given a boost. And because the production of such people based on so-called merit, and the United States gives them visa based on that, and the American companies promote them based on that, that is a sham. That is actually caste privilege being considered as merit. So caste is a form of merit, and meritocracy is a propagation of caste into the next generation. This is the basic DNA, the basic tattva of the poison. One aspect of this whole book's theory about poison hidden in the snakes in the Ganga that you don't see, but this poison is spreading. That's the point of this book. So now I get calls from Indians working in Microsoft. I have a lot of emails from Facebook, Google. I made a little group. They're very scared to come out, but I know what they're doing. So what they're doing is this consulting company called Equality Labs, which is in collaboration with these Harvard people, is New York based. They have been, they go to Silicon Valley and they say that you should do a caste census. We will do it for you. Americans don't know what is caste. They see all Indians look the same and they can't tell. Whereas blacks and white you can tell. So they say we have to educate you on caste because you'll get in trouble. You'll get in legal trouble otherwise. And you'll be considered negligent. When we warned you and you ignored our warning, management will be considered negligent and you'll have a case on you. So these people say, okay, Bapre, you will pay you now. What do you want us to do? So these people charge like $75,000 an hour to conduct caste sensitivity workshop. So they've gone to Microsoft, and Satya Nadella, according to one person who wrote to me, Satya Nadella just sat quietly and just listened to the whole thing, didn't say a word, because he was advised by the HR department that if you defend, if you argue, if you raise a question, you'll be considered racist for denying. You'll be considered a racist in denial, which means you don't want to admit. So you have to admit and confess. What they want is that all the Indians sitting there should confess, stand up and say, yes, I apologize, I am casteist, I come from caste background, I'm so sorry, I have done all this, my parents were bad, my tradition is bad. And you say that, then they'll clap, you're good, otherwise, you're not good. So this is a kind of oppressive pressure going on. And these caste sensitivity workshops are very common now in Silicon Valley. And I'm getting testimonials and so on. And after this book is launched in India, I'm going to California and various places to do these events. So I will also do events in these companies. And they're saying that if whoever sponsors this in Facebook or Google will be tagged, and so we'll do it privately. We want your consultation and your advice. What do we do? We don't know how to answer. If we answer, then we'll be accused. So I told them, you blame me. You take my book or take the chapter out of it, and you can say there is a different position, a different opinion. So some of them have gone to there is a guest lecture series, and proposed my name, because they have all these kind of people who are giving this casteist view of Indian culture and Indian tech, and these people have gone and said, let's get a contrarian view. And it's being considered, but they are resisting, because they do not want a guy like me. They do not want a guy like me. They would rather that and the Indians are very naive. They come out of places like this. They have no training, they have no background, they don't know what to say, and they're scared, and the easy way out is just quietly do your job and don't mess with it, because you don't want to be fired, you don't want your visa revoked. They're so happy they got all this money and salary, and so they're very obliged to the company. And if they have to put up with insult about their heritage, they'll say, okay, I'll put up with it. This is very sad, this kind of thing is happening. The Indian embassy doesn't know what to do, the Indian consulates don't know what to do privately. They'll say, हाँ बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, आप करिए. How much can one guy do, with two of us? We need help. So I went to some friends who are big shots in IIT alumni. They run this pan IITs here and there. They run TIA chapters in various places. Privately, they'll either say, is this, so it's happening, maybe it's true only, maybe we should be apologetic, maybe we haven't, but they don't know. They don't know what to say. They don't know which way to come out, but they're hedging their bets. And ultimately they're trying to stay out of controversy, because they're doing very well for themselves. Why should they fight for you? They are not in trouble because they made their money. They're okay. So I'm saying, look, you owe kind of help to the tradition and to the institution that made you successful. The institution that made you a billionaire, you should at least give something back and protect them. You have to stand up, you have standing, you are a rich man, you have a lot of resources, you stand up and fight for your tradition. But you will not find a Satya Nadella fighting for the tradition, you will not find Sindhur Pichai, there are hundreds of these guys in various capacities. You will not find Vinod Khosla standing up and saying all this bullshit, what is this going on, you will not find them doing it. And so I know a large number of IITians, so I'm one of the reasons I'm here is I want India-based, IIT-based kind of support group. At least there ought to be some organized response to all of this. Interestingly, this book, I gave so many copies to so many IITians. I said, look, you read it for yourself. I'll mark up the pages, you read for yourself. They're not interested, they don't want to go public with it. They wish I would not write all this. I said, what do you mean if you wish I don't write? They feel that, okay, maybe, fine, we'll just lie low. That's the attitude. I think it's a bad attitude, because like a lot of the Tamil Brahmins got chased out of Tamil Nadu, and they end up in Mumbai, they put up a whole lot of things over there, and then they end up in Silicon Valley, and now they're going to be chased at Silicon Valley. So now you will have quotas there. That's the prospect we are finding. And it's not just Tamil Brahmins, and it's not only Brahmins, it's all Indians. All Indians, if they come and divide up us, it's bad for Dalits. Because the assumption is that they're not able to compete on merit. Why are we assuming they can't compete on merit? I know a lot of Dalits who are very good, solid scholars. I know them personally, who are good, solid technocrats and engineers. I've worked with some of them, and I don't see there's any reason they cannot be, if given equal opportunity, why they cannot be just as good. So I think that's the way to move the country forward, rather than dividing people and making them fight. What is happening is that the caste sensitivity and awareness in Silicon Valley is suddenly going up among the top people, among the board members, and they'll want a caste Dalit on the board, all these things will happen. Then they will want that the subsidiaries in India should be doing caste census to see if does Microsoft in India has too many people upper caste and not enough lower caste or minorities, and then Google and Facebook and Amazon and Apple, all these guys. And then the next will be if they are outsourcing to TCS is supplying them with programmers and they're doing software, they'll say that our outsourcing policy should also require that the supplier has to be complying with these American laws. So this will spread. And this is a serious problem. I could go on talking about it for a long time. I just wanted to give you an overview, and then we will discuss more during Q&A. Thank you very much for listening.